Welcome back. Let's roll out to Los Angeles and bring in Coach Jason Brown from Last Chance U, or as I like to call him, Last Chance Q. JB, I want to start here because this is all going to tie together eventually to everything we're talking about. But let's start with Jalen Hurts. Is he the MVP of the National Football League?
I guess because of the record, man. I don't like what I'm just still not. I'm not sold on anyone in the NFL right now. It's just so watered down. It's the worst football I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I'm not sold on any MVP, man. It's just we have bad football. 9-10 quarterbacks a week throw for under 200 yards, and they're winning games, which is like blowing my mind. We just have a bad era right now of football. But right now, Sean Salisbury and myself, we put him in as our top guy right now because of the record, what they've done. They continue to win games 1 week at a time, and you can't really deny that. They beat a good Titan team last week. They put it on the Giants this week. You can't deny what they're doing, and he's being efficient. I don't believe he's being overly great. I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl. I don't think they have. I just think they're going to.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year, JB?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be someone that none of us expect. It's going to be some off the wall. I mean, the Bengals, in my opinion, are playing as good as anyone right now. I wouldn't want to play them or the Lions right now. But I can't just.
I agree with you about the Lions.
It's hard to roll off my tongue that the Lions are going to play the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it is very, very – if I was an NFL team right now as a coach, I wouldn't want to play either one of those football teams. I'll tell you that.
I agree with you. When I look around the league, I don't see greatness anywhere. But I can't deny the Eagles' 12-1 record, and they very easily could be 13-0. And so they've been the most consistent team. Jalen Hurts has certainly evolved and elevated as a passer. I've been reluctant to want to throw him on that MVP bandwagon, but I have to do it. He is right now the deserving MVP and probably going to run through the finish line here and be the MVP. Let me ask a different question as I continue to segue into a little longer conversation I want to have maybe about Lincoln Riley. But if there's something special about Jalen Hurts that I think comes from being benched at Alabama. And the special part of it is, hey, he got to go to Oklahoma and work with Lincoln Riley. But I also think the special is he dealt with some real adversity and dealt with it in a really mature, manly way. And I think that is still driving him. That disrespect of being benched for Tua Tagovailoa, who I guarantee you Jalen Hurts doesn't think and never thought was as good as him. I think that has driven Jalen Hurts to the next level, that disrespect that he feels like he got at Alabama. Do you agree?
I have a total different spin on this thing. You say 13-0 for the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. I say they could easily be 8-5 as well. If you look at the games they've won at the end of the game, they could easily be 8-5 team too. So that's how bad football is right now. But the 32 touchdown thing under Jalen Hurts' name is very, very misconceiving. We need to stop with that because in the NFL playoffs, he's going to have to throw the football with minimal turnovers to win the game. Let's look at his throwing touchdowns versus interceptions. That is where you win football games in the playoffs, and doesn't have a huge, big-time touchdown to interception ratio, and that is what wins Super Bowls. He doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns, Jason, if you look at it. He just doesn't. With his feet, cool, but we see how Lamar Jackson ended up. We see Trey Lance. We see Justin Fields. So having said that, going to your second question about Alabama, what do you do if your quarterback's playing as bad as he was playing when he got yanked in that game? Jalen Hurts will thank Nick Saban down the line years from today. Right now, he's bitter and he thinks, okay, I got yanked. Well, you were playing horribly, and the guy that we brought in won the national title for us. What do you expect, and what do you want from us? That is what our job is as the coach. Your job as the player is to perform. You did not do so. So anyway, he enters the portal and transfers, and I can honestly say out of those quarterbacks that Lincoln Riley's coached, he is the one with the highest character. And I'm only saying that because he was at Alabama the longest inside of a structured environment where you couldn't be the sour apple in the batch. And you can go to Oklahoma and you can be, the piece of turd that you are, and you can show out and do all these things. I believe Jalen Hurts is the only kid with any type of character that Lincoln Riley has coached to date. And everyone else that he's coached has been absolutely the word I use is shitbird, but I don't want to use that on your show, but I just did. They're very bad character kids. You can see it from Baker to Kyler Murray, and now you got the Caleb Williams kid who puts FU Utah on his nails. Well, guess what, Jason? Somebody allowed that to happen, and that person is Lincoln Riley, and he's allowed a lot more than he's coached. And I'm tired of hearing the quarterback guru, quarterback whisperer. You are the quarterback inheritor. You inherit great quarterbacks. You don't build them up and recruit them from scratch and coach them and turn them into Heisman Trophy winners. You inherit them. They're already developed. I can argue you make them into worse character kids than they were when they got there. So, you have been a very, very he has been a very
You've blown my mind, JB. You've blown my mind. You give a lot of takes that shock me. You've now blown my mind. The man took a midget and Kyler Murray and made him a Heisman Trophy winner. Didn't he take Baker Mayfield, another midget, and made him the Heisman Trophy winner?
How's that working out?
Jalen Hurts fails. We talking about what he did in college. Jalen Hurts, we're switching to Lincoln Riley now because he done got ahead of me. Jalen Hurts, gets benched at Alabama and then comes over and finishes second in the Heisman race. And now this Caleb Williams goes to USC and wins the Heisman. And you're going to take a dump on Lincoln Riley? How?
Because anyone can do that in college. These guys are doing it every year. What do the guys end up being? What do their guys end up? What has Lincoln Riley won? Please, I'll wait. I'll wait till you tell me what he's won in college football.
3 Heisman trophies.
And guess what?
And a big contract.
What's one of those kids that he recruit out of high school and mold into the Heisman winner? Or did they already come fully developed when he got them? I'll wait.
Well, hold on a second, JB.
I thought, where was Caleb Williams at? He was at
Oklahoma. He recruited him at Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah.
But a second ago, you were just – say that again, JB?
Behind Rattler, another S-bird.
Well, I got it. But a second ago, you were defending why Jalen Hurts sucked.
Words in my mouth. When did I say he's supposed to leave? I never said he should have left. I said he came from
my point was that he got replaced.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying he wasn't playing well and he wasn't very good. And then he finished second in the Heisman. There's a guy that he inherited who wasn't playing very well, certainly wasn't an NFL starter at that point, and he moved all the way up into the second, finishing second in the Heisman. He's done that with a few different guys. Whether you recruited him out of high school, if when they get to you, they turn into Heisman Trophy winners or runner-ups, you're doing something right?
No, you're not. I don't understand. You played big boy football, man. You know better. Like these kids would have won the Heisman somewhere else. Let me break down this misnomer that's out there. Everyone, I love when I hear Jalen Hurts would not have been an NFL player if he didn't go to Oklahoma. Can we please put an end to this BS? He played and started at Alabama. He was getting drafted. Please stop with the BS that if he didn't go to Oklahoma, he wouldn't be a quarterback in the NFL. Yes, he would. He was going to get drafted. Okay, go ask any NFL scout or college coach if he was going to be okay leaving Alabama and not going to Oklahoma. Let's stop with the narrative that he had to go to Oklahoma. No, he did not. He played at Alabama and started there. He won there. Like, come on, man. Let's miss me with this BS that he had to go to Oklahoma and play for Lincoln Riley. No, he didn't, because Lincoln Riley's track record when the quarterback leaves him is trash. Kyler Murray is trash. Baker Mayfield is trash. And Caleb Williams will be the second coming of Kyler Murray. Mark my words. So I'm just telling you, we have a guy who inherits quarterbacks that are already been developed and runs a system that is conducive for quarterbacks who are athletic, who can get the ball out quickly in an RPO system, run a little triple option, and have freaks of nature wideouts around him in college, similar to what Ohio State does with their quarterback. What Ohio State quarterbacks flourish in the NFL? You have to start equating these things to the next level to really give me somebody. I can call out Jeff Tedford and say he's a quarterback whisperer. He's had a lot of success leaving him going to the NFL. And there's been other guys too. Lincoln Riley's not one of those guys. I'm sorry.
So, JB, let's say that there are dads at home watching this, or moms, and their son is a quarterback. And their son told, Mom, Dad, I'd like to win the Heisman Trophy and get drafted high in the NFL. You wouldn't tell them, hey, you should send them to Lincoln Riley?
I wouldn't, but that's a whole nother deal. But these parents send these guys to quarterback academies all over the country and spend $1,500 for you to line up 100 guys and take a drop back 3-step and say, okay, good job. Well, you're not very smart and you don't really do a lot of research. So you spend a lot of money and waste it. And that's why we have 50,000 kids in the transfer portal too. So if that's going to be your question, then yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting one, because we have a lot of people out here who refuse to do research. And then when the going gets tough, guess what they do? They enter the portal, they run and hide, and then the parent does nothing but say, okay, you can leave if you want. And it blows my mind. No, I wouldn't send him there. But guess what? I want to know a quarterback that he's developed from scratch that has created and had success.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is this one right now. He brought from Oklahoma. We're going to see what ends up happening after he leaves SC. He has another year. And I'm going to tell you right now on record, because I'm already hearing whispers out here in L.A. He may opt out to sit the whole season next year because of hurting his draft status, which is another huge implication on what his character is truly like. After the FU Utah fingernails, and after I've seen a bunch of body language, and after I've talked to coaches who I know on that staff, I know he's just another Kyler Murray waiting to happen. And if he sits out next year, don't be surprised. And I just want to know when this is all going to stop. When is the NCAA going to get involved? When is this going to become it's a mockery already as it is, but when are we going to put an end to this thing? Because why allow him to sit? If he's already been out 2 years and you're going to redshirt him or whatever, that's going to be your 3-year rule in NFL out of high school. Is this really the way we're headed? Like, is this what we want? We're just going to sit a guy and still draft him that highly? See, if I was the NFL, I wouldn't even draft a kid if he's not going to play his allotted years, because we just don't know what we're getting in a year. We just don't. And that's what's happening.
I had a producer, John Hadley, who this morning said Caleb Williams is the greatest draft prospect since John Elway. Now, I hung up the phone on him and told him he was stupid, but he said it. He sees Caleb Williams as this great NFL talent. Does he have great NFL talent and you just think he has a bad personality, or do you think his talent's overrated and his personality is going to be a detriment as well?
It's funny. The same guy called me, John Hadley, and I hung up on him too. So, good. I don't think he equates to the NFL. He's another undersized guy with a quick release, but doesn't have the big-time arm talent as far as throwing in the NFL. When the hash marks change in the NFL, and you have to throw an 18 to 15-yard comeback across the formation and across the field on time against press man, You can't rely on only throwing fade balls and running RPO like they do in college right now. The only thing that I do give Lincoln Riley credit for, his offensive formations are very, very similar to what the NFL does. He does a lot of two tight ends, swap, trades, motions, shifts. He does a lot of things with tight ends where all these other spread option teams and RPO teams are running basically spread formation, 10, 11 personnel. At least Lincoln runs some things, gets him under center. So at least I hope that they are a little bit more prepared for the NFL than the average guy that's out here in college that we see across college football that are just strictly 99.9% in the gun, don't take a center QB exchange, don't know how to take a drop under center, don't run play action mechanics. I'll give you that. I think he's a little more advanced than a lot of these other kids that are running similar systems. Now, having said that, if you look at him and look at Kyler Murray in college, they're very, very similar. They're athletic. Obviously, he's not as quick as a cat as Kyler is. He doesn't have the arm strength Kyler has either. Obviously, being a first-round draft pick in baseball tells you that his arm is incredible, Kyler Murray's is. But it's yet to be determined if he can dissect, decipher, be cerebral in the understanding of what the NFL entails, which is understanding protections, formations, calling out coverages, rotational coverages, cloud sky, who's on the roof safety-wise, all these different things. That is yet to be determined because we just don't know until they get to the NFL. And then you don't know either because of what team drafts him. And we see a lot of quarterbacks who I thought were going to be okay, but they implode because of the NFL franchise they get drafted to. And that also hurts a lot of these young kids who are expected to come right in and be the guy. And it's just it's unfortunate to put that onus on these kids because these franchises are bad. We continue to just draft quarterback after quarterback just to fill the stands and get that money.
JB, at the Heisman Trophy ceremony this past weekend, Caleb Williams said he still has a lot to prove and was looking forward to next season. So, you know, maybe agents or somebody gets in his ear and talks him into something different. But TJ, help me out here. JB doesn't like Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like Lincoln Riley. He doesn't like Caleb Williams. He doesn't like Baker Mayfield. He doesn't like Kyler Murray. JB, who do you like?
Joe Burrow. That's who I like. Pick first to start my franchise with. Anyone else that wants to fight me on that, please let me hear your argument. He is the only one that I take right now, unequivocally, without question, without hesitation. Burrow's the guy I take. He is the closest thing to Brady, Rodgers, Manning, Elway, all these guys, Marino, Aikman.
Burrow hit that transfer portal, didn't he?
He did after.
Not an expert. He hit that transfer. Yeah, he hit that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we can point out two guys that hit the portal that had success. Yeah, how many don't have success? How about that? How about point out that? Hey, by the way, there's a stat that's out there. 58% of the kids that enter the portal over the last 3 years end up nowhere. JUCO, D2, D3. That's where they end up. So, please, we got to start spreading the word. The portal ain't the business. And it's really crippling college football as we know it, which is spiraling into NFL football because these kids that enter the portal in college think that the NFL now is a player-driven league and I can demand a trade even though I got 4 years I'm under contract for 4 more years. It's because of the portal. And I'm just telling you, this thing is going to end college football as we know it here in the next few years.
JB, let me ask you one more thing before I let you go. I was going to ask this earlier, but then you started taking a dump on Lincoln Riley, and you sent me a different direction. Tua Tagovailoa, the shine seems to be coming off of him. His lack of arm strength seems to be showing up. What do you think's going on with Tua? Is it him? Is it the system? Is he going to be the long-term starter in Miami?
I mean, the good part about me having a show before you is I have receipts, and I have all this factual evidence that the eye in the sky don't lie. And I think that's why I do not renege, Jason. I never renege. I've never had to renege in playing a game of spades, poker, you name it. I stay with my poker face. I keep with my convictions, and you can go back and look it up. Tua is not very good. I've been saying it. I've said it. He does not have an NFL arm. When the going gets tough, he's going to implode. He's not accurate. People, I can't. I love hearing this. He's accurate. No, he's not. And I'm just going to be honest. What's happening right now is the same thing that's going to happen to Brock Purdy in a few weeks. Quit anointing these guys after a few weeks, after they've done a few good things, and starts calling them the next GOAT. We see it far too often. Please let these guys' resumes develop and prove themselves. Tua's not the guy. I don't believe he'll be an NFL starter for long. I've said that for 2 years now. I'm not changing my conviction. He just doesn't have it. He's not as athletic, as gifted as a lot of these other guys who can get out of trouble and help his arm with his feet. He cannot do it. His arm is he's a stiff. He's a stiff sitting back there. He can't run anymore because the next hit he gets, he's going to be working at Walmart. And we all know that I've said it for a long time. So I just don't believe he's a guy that can do it consistently. The team understands that. The coach understands that. And now the more important question, Jason, is this coach that a lot of people, myself included, call weird expletive. I want to know how he handles the locker room now once you start losing football games, because you and I know in the NFL, crying and speeches and all these things don't really matter when you're making a lot of money and you're a grown person. You got to win games in the NFL. It's a results-oriented business. And now I want to see how they adapt and how they respond to this coach who a lot of people think is a little bit on the weird side. I want to see how this thing works out, because now I don't believe they're a playoff team.
So, JB, as we let you go, I'm going to, at one point, I don't know if you caught this, TJ, but he called you a big-time player, and I was very insulted by that.
He said big-time ball. Obviously, I didn't really take part in that, but I was on a team.
He said you played big-time ball. I was really offended by it. I took that as a shot at me. I thought he was taking a shot at me as a mid-major player. I know, but are you saying I didn't play big-time ball? Is that what you're saying, JB?
Well,
I'm
Missouri,
in my high school's my high school's effing Hall of Fame. No different than, Shannon Sharp. Yeah, I feel like you got a little Skip Bayless energy going right now. You're trying to you're trolling me right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, hey, Shannon told me you were a baller, man. Shannon told me you were a baller. Not Shannon Sharp, by the way. Another Shannon that Jason and I both know. Shannon told me you were a baller. Yeah. So I got to go with it. And Missouri wasn't in the SEC, Jason. So I'm going to say you played at a higher level at that time because, our boy was
the captain on an SEC team.
No, he was at Missouri. They were in the SEC his last year. He was the captain of the team. I'm just saying, you come on and you call TJ a big-time baller. I've never heard you say that about me. I was a little offended by that, but I'm going to let it slide this time. I'm not going to snap on you the way Shannon Sharp snapped on. Have you seen that, JB? Have you seen Shannon Sharp snap on Skip Bayless today?
No, again?
Yeah, hold on. Get the clip, the one from today. We'll play it for JB and get his final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. Play the clip of Shannon Sharp and Skip.
Still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Skip, that's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
Skip, I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
Skip, what did I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
you disrespect him. It's just so.
You
know what? It's beneath your
you would
dignity.
disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever
Have
played
at
your
it.
game, and it's by
Have at
far.
it. Have at it.
Okay,
Take off,
I'm
bro.
going to have at it.
I like the Crips and the Bloods, JB.
Hey, you know how that is, man. That's all for clickbait. Those guys are out having a cigar right now. One of my cigars, probably. Let me ask you this. What happened to Brett Favre?
What about Brett Favre?
Hey, Dion's taking a lot of heat, but Brett Favre seems to have escaped all the heat. Crazy how that works.
I ain't got time for a what about Brett Favre conversation, JB. Dion's in Colorado with the Snow Bunnies and $6 million in his pocket. He's very happy right now.
Hey,
Tracy Edmonds probably won't be happy.
right? Probably right.